Okay, so are you ready to dive into some digital marketing strategy with me?
Let's do it.
Because we've got excerpts from this textbook. It's called 9102 Esset Carp.
Catchy.
Yeah, so much, but trust me, it's full of those aha moments
Yeah.
that make you rethink how this stuff really works, you know?
It's a fantastic foundation, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the real power comes from taking these concepts and making them work for you.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here to do together today.
I love it. So whether you're like prepping for a big presentation or about to launch a new project or just curious about how digital marketing is evolving, we're going to unpack the good stuff.
Yes.
Specifically, how to think strategically in a digital world that seems to change every single day, right?
Yeah.
Well, and the textbook dives right into that with this whole concept of digital disruption.
Okay.
And it's not just that things change quickly online, it's that this speed, it changes how competition works.
It's like, how do you even... It's like trying to navigate a city where new streets pop up every week.
Right?
Right? Like, suddenly your favorite coffee shop is surrounded by 5 new places that are also serving cold brew and croissants.
Yeah,
You need a game plan just to keep up.
exactly. And the book calls these game changers. They actually use this term digital disruptors.
Ooh, I like that.
And they highlight Spotify as a prime example.
Okay.
And it's a good one.
Yeah.
Think about it. Spotify didn't just make music streaming popular.
Right.
They changed how we discover music, how artists get paid.
Yeah.
The whole structure of the industry was shaken up.
Okay, so let's unpack that Spotify example a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because they keep coming back to it in these pages, right? So they talk about pricing, artist relationships, but how did they use digital to turn those things into advantages?
Their recommendation algorithms, for one,
Okay.
they're built on massive amounts of data about what people are actually listening to.
Right.
Which lets them suggest new artists and playlists in a way that, like, traditional radio could only dream of.
Right.
It's a digital edge in action.
So smart. And that's a great takeaway for anyone listening, no matter what your industry is, right?
Absolutely.
What's your Spotify move?
Yes.
What can you disrupt in your world?
Love it.
What's that thing that's ripe for a digital makeover?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
And the text then gives us this framework for analyzing the digital marketplace.
Okay.
Just start answering it.
Okay, let's unpack this framework a little bit.
Okay, so it starts big picture, understanding the overall trends, like the macro environment, and then it zooms in on your immediate competitors.
Okay.
They use this analogy of an online marketplace, which I think is pretty helpful.
I like that. Yeah, it makes it relatable, right?
Totally. So it's like you wouldn't open a bakery next to 5 other bakeries.
Right.
Without a really clear idea what makes you different.
Right.
What's your thing?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that digital actually gives you even more ways to differentiate yourself.
Okay.
It could be your product, it could be your reach, your partnerships, the experience you create.
Give us an example. Bring this to life a little bit.
Okay. Imagine that bakery again.
Okay.
With a smart digital strategy, they can start shipping their sourdough bread nationwide, right?
Oh, wow.
Launch online baking classes, create a whole community around their brand online.
Right.
Their place isn't just that storefront anymore. It's potentially the entire world.
That's such a good point.
Crazy, right?
They've gone from like this local bakery to potentially a global brand.
Totally.
Just by leveraging those digital tools.
By using the tools, exactly.
And again, for you listening, where's your digital edge?
Yeah, where is it?
What's the thing that makes you stand out in the crowded online marketplace?
Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
And potentially a little overwhelming.
Uh-oh.
The book dives into multi-channel marketing.
Nice.
Website, social media, email, and on and on.
It's a lot to manage.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, it's multi-channel mayhem.
Multi-channel mayhem. I love
Like,
that.
I know I feel that sometimes, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And the book really stresses this idea of integration.
Oh,
Like,
right.
how do all of these pieces work together seamlessly
Right.
instead of feeling like these separate silos?
It's all about the customer experience.
Yeah.
Or what the book calls, and this is another one of their terms, customer touch points.
Yeah.
Every single interaction someone has with your brand across every channel is a touch.
It's a touch point, okay?
The key is to make sure those touches are adding up to a cohesive and positive experience.
Right, because I'm already imagining the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
you get this beautifully designed email from a company, you click through to their website all excited, and
Yeah.
then bam, It's slow, it's confusing, impossible to navigate.
Oh, the worst.
Total disconnect.
Totally. And the book actually highlights examples of companies that failed because they didn't get this right.
Really?
It's not all sunshine and roses, which I appreciate. They talk about this one company. They had this amazing social media presence, like super engaging, really built a loyal following. But then their customer service was a nightmare.
Oh, no.
Emails went unanswered. Online orders got messed up. It just completely undermined everything else they were doing right.
Yeah, that's rough. And it makes you realize, like, all those touch points, they're like, I don't know, pieces of a puzzle, right? Like, you can have a few beautiful pieces, but if they don't fit together, the whole picture falls apart.
Exactly. And this leads to another, like, crucial point in the book.
Okay.
None of these touch points, none of this marketing magic matters if you don't have clear goals from the get-go.
It's like setting out on a road trip without deciding on a destination first, right?
Oh, I love that.
You might enjoy the scenery for a while, but you'll end up lost and wondering what you're even doing out there.
That's precisely.
Yeah.
And the text is very clear on this. You need measurable goals, not just some vague notion of being better online. They give concrete examples like increasing sales by a specific percentage.
Right.
Generating a certain number of leads from a particular campaign.
Okay.
Or, improving customer retention rates.
That makes total sense, yeah. It's the difference between saying, like, I want to get in shape versus I want to be able to run a 10K in under an hour.
Yeah.
One is a wish. The other one is, like, an actual plan.
Exactly. And this ties directly into what the book calls ROI, return on investment.
Right.
One of the great things about digital marketing is that it's so much more trackable than traditional methods.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that billboard analogy?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Right.
With a billboard, it's like you're throwing your message out into the void.
Totally.
And just hoping for the best. But online, you can track everything.
Exactly. You can see exactly how many people clicked on that ad,
right,
what they did on your website, whether they made a purchase or abandoned their cart. It's all there in the data.
Which empowers you to make smarter decisions, right? Like, if you're pouring money into a campaign and not seeing the results,
yes,
you can, like, adjust course instead of just blindly throwing more money at it.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So for everyone listening, this is a great moment to just, like, pause and ask yourself, what are my digital marketing goals?
Yeah.
And how am I actually tracking progress towards those goals? And if you don't have good answers to those questions, the book luckily provides some helpful frameworks to get you started.
I love that we're giving people actionable steps.
Yes.
That's what makes this so valuable. Okay, so we've got our goals. We're tracking our progress.
We're cooking.
What's next? How do we, like, reach those goals?
So the book argues that digital marketing has fundamentally changed the game when it comes to reaching your target audience. Remember that concept of the long tail?
Oh, yeah, from earlier.
Yes.
It's that idea that online you can find a niche audience for just about anything, right?
Exactly.
You're not limited to, like, mass appeal anymore.
You're not just shouting into the void hoping that somebody will hear you.
Right, exactly.
You're finding those people.
It's so small.
Who actually want what you're offering.
Yes. Okay, so let's say you've identified your niche audience.
Okay.
What's the best way to, like, reach them? I mean, there are so many different platforms and channels these days.
So many.
It can feel overwhelming.
Absolutely. And that's where having a clear digital strategy becomes essential.
Oh.
The book talks about the importance of customer segmentation.
Okay.
Basically, you're dividing your potential customers into groups based on shared characteristics and needs.
So, like, demographics, interests, online behavior, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And digital gives you incredible tools to gather this data.
Okay.
And segment your audience with incredible precision.
Wow, okay.
Then you can tailor your messaging to speak directly to each group's specific interests and pain points.
It's like, instead of shouting your message from the rooftops, hoping that someone will hear it, you're having individual conversations with the people who are most likely to be interested in what you have to offer.
Exactly. It's about creating meaningful connections and building relationships, not just blasting out generic messages and hoping for the best.
Which makes your marketing so much more effective, right?
Totally.
Because people can tell when you're speaking directly to them.
Oh, absolutely.
When you understand their needs, it builds trust and loyalty.
100%.
You know.
Absolutely. And this leads into another key concept from the book, customer engagement.
Okay.
It's not enough to just reach your audience.
Yeah.
You have to engage with them.
Okay.
In a meaningful way.
So what does that look like in practice? How do you create engaging experiences in the digital world?
The book talks about developing a customer engagement strategy. This means having a plan for how you interact with your audience across all those different digital touchpoints we talked about earlier.
So it's about creating a seamless and enjoyable experience no matter where or how someone is interacting with your brand online.
Precisely.
Right.
And social media plays a huge role in this, of course. The book dedicates a whole section to developing a social media strategy.
Which makes sense. Social media is where so many people are spending their time these days.
Totally.
But just being on social media isn't enough, right?
Not at all.
Like, how do you actually get people to engage?
It's not just about being present. It's about being engaging. It's about creating content that people actually want to consume and share.
Right.
It's about being part of the conversation.
And tailoring your content to each platform, right?
Yes.
Because what works on Instagram isn't going to necessarily work on LinkedIn or TikTok.
You got it. It's about understanding the nuances of each platform and creating content that resonates with the audience there.
Which probably means a lot of experimentation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Trying new things, seeing what sticks, constantly learning and evolving.
100%. The digital landscape is constantly shifting.
Right.
So your approach needs to be flexible and adaptable.
This is giving me so much to think about. Okay, so we've talked about setting goals, tracking ROI, segmenting our audience, crafting engaging content. It's a lot to keep track of. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the book about how to manage all of this effectively?
Actually, there is.
Okay, good.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The book talks about customer relationship management.
Okay.
Or CRM.
Okay.
And how digital tools have completely revolutionized this whole area.
Okay, so tell me more about CRM. What is it and how does it tie into all of this?
Well, at its core, CRM is about using data to understand your customers better.
Okay.
It's about tracking their interactions with your brand, their preferences, their purchase history, and then using that information to create more personalized and effective marketing campaigns.
So it's about moving beyond that one-size-fits-all approach and treating each customer as an individual.
Exactly.
Which we can do now more than ever.
Totally.
Because of digital tools, right.
And the beauty of digital CRM is that you can track so much more data than ever before.
Right.
Every website visit, every email open, every social media interaction, it's all trackable and measurable.
So instead of just guessing what your customers want, you can actually see what they're interested in, how they're behaving, and what's resonating with them.
You got it.
Okay.
And you can use that data to tailor your messaging, your offers, your entire customer journey to create a truly personalized experience.
That's incredible. It's like having a superpower.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the book talks about how this data-driven approach allows you to build stronger relationships with your customers.
Okay.
Which leads to increased loyalty, more repeat business, and ultimately higher profits.
It's like that saying, it's cheaper to keep an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one.
Exactly.
CRM seems like the ultimate tool for customer retention.
Exactly. And the book does a great job of breaking down the different types of CRM systems available, from simple spreadsheets to sophisticated software platforms.
Okay.
There's something out there for businesses of all sizes.
I'm already thinking about how I can implement some of these strategies.
Right.
This is so eye-opening.
It's amazing to see how far digital marketing has come, right?
It really is.
And the pace of innovation shows no signs of slowing down.
It really is incredible. It's like we're living in the future that sci-fi movies promised us, you know?
I know, right?
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Digital disruption, market analysis, customer segmentation, engagement strategies. We even got into CRM.
The good stuff.
It's a lot to process, but hopefully it's got those wheels turning for everyone listening.
Absolutely. And we've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
This text is packed with even more insights.
Oh, I bet.
But there's one more concept that I think is super important to highlight before we wrap up.
Okay, hit me with it.
It's all about measurement. The book goes into great detail about the importance of tracking your digital marketing efforts, analyzing the data, and using those insights to make informed decisions.
It's like that old saying, you can't improve what you don't measure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the digital world, you can measure just about everything.
Right, that's true.
But the key is to focus on the metrics that actually matter.
Right.
For your business goals.
Right. So it's not just about vanity things like how many followers do you have?
That's not just about the vanity metrics, right? Like website visits, social media followers.
Right.
Those are good to track, but they don't tell the whole story.
Right.
You need to dig deeper and look at things like conversion rates, customer lifetime value, return on investment, like what's actually moving the needle for your business.
So how do you even begin to track all of that? It sounds overwhelming.
That's where technology comes in, right?
Okay.
The book actually uses this term marketing automation to describe how you can use software to streamline a lot of these tracking and analysis tasks.
Okay, tell me more about this marketing automation magic. How does that work?
So essentially, you can use these tools to automate repetitive marketing tasks, right?
Okay.
Like sending out personalized emails, tracking website behavior, qualifying leads, even nurturing those leads through the sales funnel.
Okay.
It frees up your time and energy so you can focus on the strategic side of things.
That sounds like a game changer. No more like manually sending out hundreds of emails or trying to make sense of spreadsheets full of data.
Exactly. Yeah. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of digital marketing.
Right.
And gives you the insights you need to make smarter, data-driven decisions.
This deep dive has been like a whirlwind tour.
It has been.
Of the digital marketing landscape.
Yes.
But in the best way possible.
I agree.
Hopefully it's given everyone listening like some solid frameworks, actionable takeaways, and maybe even a few aha moments to apply to their own businesses or projects, right?
Absolutely. And remember, this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
The digital world is constantly evolving, so the key is to stay curious, keep experimenting, and never stop learning.
So true. Don't let this be the end of your digital marketing journey, right? Let it be the spark that ignites a lifelong passion for this ever-changing field, you know?
I love that. And to wrap things up on an inspiring note,
I
want to leave you with this thought from the book that really stuck with me.
Okay, let's hear it.
They compare Amazon to this like vast department store, right?
Okay.
But within that department store, there are countless niche shops thriving.
Okay.
Because of the sheer variety and accessibility offered by the online marketplace.
That's such a good analogy.
Right.
Yeah, it speaks to the power of the long tail.
Exactly.
That we were talking about earlier. It's like even within this like massive,
This huge.
This huge entity.
Behemoth.
Yeah.
There's still room for you to carve out your own little space.
Exactly. And thrive.
And thrive, exactly.
Yeah. So the question for all of you listening is this. What's your unique appeal online? What's that niche you can carve out for yourself and dominate?
Love it.
In this ever-expanding digital world? It's a question worth pondering, right?
Absolutely.
As you kind of embark on your own digital marketing journey. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Thanks for having me.